So we're here with Coach Mark. So Coach Thomas Lamanna getting ready for Jamal Charlo. How's this camp been going for him?
So far, excellent. I've been in here with him, working with him for maybe the past month and a half, 2 months. So I wasn't a part of the full camp. But coming in, looking at the type of shape that I saw he was in when I got here was just amazing. That I knew he was focused, because that's half the battle, the conditioning, being in shape. You can have the skill, you can have the will, but if you're not physically in shape, like in good condition, man, you in for, you pretty much beating yourself. So far, everything's been good with him. The spirit's been positive. The footwork is excellent. The jab is coming off good. I'm more so here, I think, for the alertness, the defense, making sure the hands come back, the elbows stay tucked, the pivots, the side steps, little things like that. So I'm seeing him do it, and I couldn't be more happy.
So if Thomas Lamanna does this, he beats Jamal Charlo?
A few of the things I just named, it's all about the small details. It's always the small things. Staying on your jab. If the jab is working, don't abandon it. Double it up, triple it up. Get behind the feints. Keep the chin tucked. Keep the elbows tight. Because we know Jamal Charlo, he can punch. He wants you right there in front of him. I kind of see it where he locks his legs out a lot of times. So we'll look for little wrinkles. Some of the intangibles I think that we can exploit, expose. But if Flake just be Flake, if he just uses his ring IQ, 45 fights is 45 fights
right
at this level, at the pros. I think that's more than enough, man. Just be yourself, have fun in there, and stay alert. And that's my main thing, to keep him alert in that corner. And I think we will shock the world. I'm certain we will shock the world.
So Jamal Charlo has been very inactive over these past few years, and obviously without giving out the game plan. But would it make sense to almost come out with a pressure type fight, from the standpoint that it could be cold, it could be, because he's going to have to get warm, he's going to have to get ready, he's going to have to get right.
Yeah.
So would it make sense to almost come out and be aggressive from the jump?
I like to tell my fighters, make it back after round one, make it back to the corner, and then we make adjustments from there. So if we think we see something on fight night that suggests that we need to go out there and press on the gas right away, you just might see that, or the world might see that. Other than that, I'm honestly thinking, let's go out there and warm up. So let's use the footwork, because I think that's a strength for us. I think that's an advantage for us. Flake has good feet. Flake has good feints. So a lot of those things I think Flake need to come out and use, and just see how Jamal reacts to those things. And if we see something that suggests, pick it up. Let's press the pace. Let's press the action. Then we'll do that. But I like to get that going after he makes it back to the corner.
So let me ask you this: the reality is that Charlo's the A side, and the reality is that it appears that they want Charlo plant next.
Yes.
With that thought process, can you go to the distance? Can you go the distance? Can you trust the cards? And not saying there's going to be any funny business, but does the mindset have to be we have to be aggressive, we have to make this where there's no doubts?
I have a strategy. I have a way about this fight that I've played out in my mind quite a few times. I won't say exactly what that is, but I put it to you this way: sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. So in the way that Jamal Charlo likes to fight, we just may have to give him some of his own medicine. And again, if that works in our advantage, or seems to be working early, we'll stay with that. But I've told Flake that what I see for him is you can get any type of decision. I'm almost thinking, I like to think to myself that, let's just say Flake loses on the scorecards, but it's controversial. Like you said, we don't know what may happen with the scorecards, but if the fans are saying boo and they're booing Charlo, that might be just as good as a win.
Right.
And that can put him in position for another big fight, or the fans may clamor that he needs to fight Plant next and not Charlo. So Flake said it right. Let's just let it play out because I've played it over in my mind a million times. I'm sure he has, but then a real fight will happen. So we have to go from there.
So Canelo, Crawford, how do you see that?
Man, I love Bud. I became a fan of Bud. I had to learn to respect Bud. I had Earl Spence over Bud.
Okay.
But I had to learn to respect Bud's game, his fighting style, crafty, high IQ. Weight is weight. I heard Flake said that Bud is a big guy. He's not as small as people think. But being at 68 as long as Canelo has, I gotta give him an advantage in that category. I think Bud early, for some reason, I still see Canelo. I don't want to say stopping Bud. I don't see that. I see Canelo making adjustments, getting closer to Bud, later the fight going. Bud kind of, at the end of the fight, you see Bud taking his gloves off, and it's that look of, I tried, y'all. I tried to shock the world or put off one of the greatest fights ever, but I got Canelo coming out.
Almost like a Jamel Charlo type situation, or not?
A little more competitive, but Canelo, man, I like that one. I think this one will be a little more competitive, maybe early though, but I think finishing up the fight, those late rounds, I just see Canelo chest to chest and just too much mass and too much natural size and winning that fight.
So boots to your female, if that were to happen?
Boots crushes everything at 147. Boots crushes damn near everything at 154. Nothing is Boots. I've watched Boots spar. I've been to a few of Boots fights. Boots is a different specimen. The better you are, I believe, the better he gets. I think that's a real thing with him. So Teofimo, he'll get in there for maybe 3 rounds, and anything after that, I see it an early night for Boots.
Do you think Boots will ever get Crawford? Is that in the cards for him? Is just not time? Time is just not going to work.
A lot of that will probably depend on the outcome of Crawford and Canelo. Meaning that if Crawford wins that fight, we would have to see if Crawford plays the game of, I don't want to come back down to 54 or even 60. I want to stay here and see if I can do it again or defend the titles here or whatever. So that's a tough one. I think it's a fight Boots really wants, just because it'll be good for his legacy and it's like old man now, here comes the new kings ushering in. So it's possible, but I think a lot of it hinges on Canelo and Crawford outcome.
So end of the day, May 31st, Las Vegas. The world's going to be shocked?
I believe so. They brought in the mad scientists for a reason. We got some wrinkles. We got some tricks. I told Cornflake, let's get past the first 3 or 4 rounds with the least amount of damage as possible. The longer this fight goes, it benefits us. For sure.
Appreciate it.
No problem.